And welcome into Fantasy Baseball today on Wednesday, August 6th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White and Chris Towers. Today on the show, we are going to fire up the worryometer. Plus, Nathan Eovaldi continued his magical season. How is he doing this? Plus, it was a nice night for the Twins' future. Welcome back to Luke Keeschel. Zebby Matthews, nice start there as well, and much more. But let's jump in.
I don't believe it!
All right, let's get the bad out of the way. Chris, you're up. Not that you're bad. The player you're going to talk about.
Oh, it's fine. I don't take
right
these
now.
things. I have a lot of self-respect and self-worth, so I'm good on that one. MacKenzie Gore. Boy, again, we fell for it again. It's like almost exactly the same thing as happened last year, except he was even better through the first 3 months of this season. He was 18th in ERA among qualifiers. He was 5th in strikeout rate. He was 6th in K- walk rate through the end of June. He looked like one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was a totally non-controversial all-star pick. How could he not have made the all-star team with how good he's been? And then for the second year in a row, as soon as the calendar hit July, he has been atrocious. He had a 6.70 ERA in the month of July, and that's going to be much higher after his start on Tuesday, where he gave up 8 runs over 3 innings, 12 hits, no strikeouts for the first time in his major league career, 0 strikeout game for MacKenzie Gore. I have no idea. Like I went looking for some answers just to see what he said after the game, because it's one of those ones where he was so bad that it's like the Jesus Luzardo starts earlier, where you're just like, there must have been some explanation for this, right? Like, he's hurt, he's tipping pitches, and the quote that I saw, we didn't walk anybody tonight, which is something that typically when I pitch bad, that's what happens. Just tonight, it was just they got hit. So, yeah, we got to make some adjustments. I have no, I really have no answer, because if you look at the individual pitches, nothing looks that different. His velocity's down like 0.3 miles per hour from where it was in April and May, but it was like that in June as well, and it didn't affect him. Spin rates, movement profiles on all of his pitches more or less look identical as they did early in the season. He's just tipping pitches would make sense, or he's having some kind of mechanical issue, but I don't know. I'm at a loss. And what makes this especially tough is we went through this last season. He had this awful stretch. I think it was like his last start in June through his third start or his second start in August. I think it was August 11th was his last bad one. And then he was awesome. He had 6 quality starts in his final 7 starts, had a 1.55 ERA, 45 strikeouts to 11 walks over his final 7 starts. So this is the thing that's most frustrating about MacKenzie Gore is he seems to have it and lose it, and there's nothing in between. He's either amazing or he's terrible, and we're going on 2 straight years of that being the case. It feels very much like Jesus Luzardo. And, you know, right now I think the answer is you just sit him for his next start, obviously, if you have that option. And you sit him until it looks like he's turned it around, and I think he will turn it around at some point. But when we're talking, you know, he's probably got 7 or 8 starts left this season, so we can start thinking about 2026. I have no idea what to do with this guy. He's got top 15 talent.
Mm-hmm.
Can you draft him as a top 40 starting pitcher next year when he's got a 4.20 ERA and a 1.4 WHIP now?
Yeah, I mean, let's see how the final 2 months go before answering that. But there was a point this season where we were basically calling MacKenzie Gore top 15, certainly top 20. And, I mean, this is kind of the frustrating thing about roto play, because
he's undone it all.
You spent the whole year thinking you had this breakout pitcher that you could rely on, and you know, who would have argued with it? And he's given it all back, because now, as you mentioned, Chris, for the season, ERA is 4.29, WHIP is 1.37. He only has 4 wins on the year because the Nationals are bad. So, like, he's He's given it all back. He's been a net negative and a severe negative for your pitching staff if you've continued to start MacKenzie Gore through this. And it's a good chance you didn't start him for some of the good starts he had earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really frustrating. I'm glad
remember, he had 13 strikeouts on opening day.
Yeah, there's a good chance a lot of people didn't start him.
You probably didn't have him in that one. So his best start of the season.
Didn't he have a bad start, and then the next start out was really good too? So
that
people
sounds like
benched him for that one. That's crazy.
I'm glad I left you the Olive Garden breadstick because I don't have many answers either. I'll just after his last start, Gore said he thought it was a sequencing issue, that he wasn't getting as many chases because of the way he was sequencing his pitches. So either he didn't address that or it's not that. I remember last year reading at the end of the year when he did have that terrible stretch that he recovered from. He credited the training staff for an unspecified issue.
Yeah.
So it could be that he's pitching through something. That's always an issue when a player's struggling, that they're playing through some injury that just goes unreported. Or, he has complicated mechanics.
Yeah.
He got sent to rookie ball as he was as a prospect. He was the best pitching prospect in baseball for a couple of years. Then his stock crashed because he had mechanical issues that got him sent to rookie ball for a while. Obviously straightened him out. But it just seems like with that history, Gore might be the sort of pitcher whose mechanics get out of whack pretty easily. And that contributes to these struggles. So I don't know. It's a lot of like theorizing and maybe we're spinning our wheels here by talking about it for this long, because obviously, okay, sit him. But it's really frustrating.
I wouldn't drop him.
And yeah, I don't think you can drop him because I think there's a good chance he turns it around.
Yeah, I think that's all well said. Just a reminder what he did last year. You brought up some of the numbers, Chris, but final 7 starts, it was a 1.55 ERA and a 0.91 WHIP. So just knowing that MacKenzie Gore still has the ability to turn things around and right the ship, we just saw that last season. I agree. I don't think we're dropping him. He's 82% started, so a lot of people have him in the lineup this week because he was a 2-star pitcher. I get it, but man, yeah, you gotta bench MacKenzie Gore for the foreseeable future. We gotta see him string together some good starts here. All right, Scott, let's go over to you for your player of the night.
All right, well, there's an obvious athletics hitter I can talk about, but we'll talk about him in a minute because I want to talk about the not so obvious one, which is JJ Bleday in the 16-run outburst for the Athletics. JJ Bleday was a central part of it, 4 for 6, had a double, had a home run, had 6 RBI. It's a huge game. And this was only his 3rd game back from a stint in the minors. And in the 2nd game back, so just the game before, Sunday's game, JJ Bleday also had 4 hits and a double and a home run. So he's done this 2 games in a row, in 3 games since returning from the minors. What was he doing in the minors? 348 batting average, 5 home runs, and 989 OPS in his 22 games down there. I find that interesting. I find that interesting because it's not like JJ Bleday is the sort of player who had, when he's been sent to the minors, he's been up and down a few times over the years. It's not like he's usually goes down there and terrorizes AAA. That's not his MO. He was a pretty useful fantasy player last year, not high end, but useful enough in 5 outfielder leagues. And I don't know. I wonder if something's clicked for him. I haven't seen anything to give me that idea other than just the performance, but it's pretty noteworthy that he goes to AAA, puts up monster numbers, and then comes back with consecutive games like this. I think 5 outfield players need to take notice, if nothing else.
Yep, and JJ Bleday is widely available, 8% rostered on CBS. And just last year, he was a serviceable player, solid OBP, 20 home runs, 762 OPS. And, with the weather very hot right now around the country, specifically in Sacramento, the ball is going to fly out there. It's a great environment to hit in. So, perhaps we could catch a little fire here with JJ Bleday down the stretch. Definitely worthy of deep league consideration. Let's talk about his teammate, Leadoff Langeliers. That's right. First time this season. And there was one other game where he had, he played leadoff, but he didn't start the game as I don't know how they calculated that. But anyway, first game for Shea Langeliers at leadoff, and he was amazing. 5 for 6 with a triple dong, 3 home runs, 4 runs scored in this one, had 5 hard hits in this game. He maxed out at 112.3 exit velocity, and hilariously enough, that hardest hit ball for him was an out. I think it was the only out that he made in this game. So it's just like, baseball's so stupid, man. Gosh. 27 games since coming off the IL for Langeliers. He is hitting 343 with 12 home runs during that stretch. He's now up to 22 home runs and an 868 OPS on the season. He's the man. Anything to add on Langeliers?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you gave the numbers for the entire 27 game stretch since returning from the IL, 343 with 12 home runs. But, take out the 5 hits, the 3 home runs from this game. Those were still incredible numbers he was putting up. I just wrote in my rankings movers column the other day, how great Langeliers has been, and that he's in my top 10 at catcher. Maybe that's too low. Obviously, there's a lot of catchers I wish I could put higher this year, but I moved him back ahead of the Braves tandem. And then he has a 3 homer game after I do that. So, yeah, Langeliers is looking like a true stud at this position.
Yeah, we both have him 10th in our catcher rankings. Chris has him at 8th. I could see the argument for moving him ahead of Adley Rutschman, Yainer Diaz. You have Agustin Ramirez 1 spot ahead. So, yeah.
Yes, maybe. I already have him ahead of Diaz, but I do have him behind Ramirez. I'd put him ahead of Ramirez after this game. Yeah, maybe Rutschman too. Then you got Ivan Herrera. Then you got Salvador Perez. I mean,
Sal's been as good in that same stretch, I would assume.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, because I don't think anyone's doubting Salvador Perez, but Shea Langeliers doesn't seem any worse than Salvador Perez.
No, I think that's the right range, and
yeah,
I mean, even like I've given William Contreras a lot of the benefit of the doubt, and he has been better lately. But if you were just picking who you'd rather have the rest of the season, I'm not 100% certain it would be William Contreras. I like to think it would be because I have faith in the track record and the skill set, but
I won't rank it that way, but
yeah,
it's almost my expectation that Langeliers will be better than Contreras the rest of the season.
If nothing else, I feel like they're in the same tier, right?
Yeah.
William Contreras has been much better lately, and
yes.
Is probably the better head-to-head player by a clearer margin than Roto. Although, I mean, part of Langeliers' success is that his strikeout rate has gotten much better. It's 19% for the year. It's 17% during this stretch since returning from the IL.
Do you guys have Hunter Goodman in that same tier still?
I have him 4th. Yeah.
He's okay. Yeah, because he's still. It's gotten very quiet, but I was surprised that he's like 5 homers since the All-Star break or something. He's continued to be very good.
That's how you know you've reached stud status, where it feels like,
I
haven't heard about Hunter Goodman in a while. Oh, wait, he's still awesome.
Yeah, like I think he had a good game today, I think. And there's just
4 hits and a home run.
Kind of no point in talking about it because what are we going to say about Hunter Goodman at this point? He's just really good.
He's a
man.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right. Quick player of the night for me here is going to be Daulton Varsho, who had a massive game in Coors Field, 3 for 5 with a double dong, 6 RBI in this one. And one of the home runs was hit 108 miles per hour and traveled 467 feet. 3 home runs in the past 2 games. He's got 11 homers in just 28 games this season. He's hitting the ball a lot harder all of a sudden. I mean, this isn't really a StatCast standout in years past, but he's doing something right, hitting the ball hard, lots of barrels.
It's weird.
He's also widely available, only 30% rostered.
He had shoulder surgery this offseason. He was not able to play at the start of the season. And then he missed 2 months with a hamstring injury. He was able to hit. I think he was held out early in the season because he wasn't able to throw, and they wanted him to play the field. But with the way he's hitting, might have just needed him to play DH early on in the season. But he's always been one of those guys who was just total fringe power. Like, he did have a 27 homer season, but it was all lift and pull, right? There was no real raw power here. It was like an 87.7 mile per hour average exit velocity that year, I think. And now he's up to 90.1 before this start. He had the furthest hit home run of the Blue Jays season on Monday. And now he also has the furthest hit home run of the Blue Jays season because he broke his own team season record, I guess we can call it. I remain skeptical, but
he hasn't been
so.
killing it performance-wise, Daulton Varsho, but like he's had so many like incredible feats for the little bit of time he's been healthy. Just these last 2 games, 6 balls hit 106.9 miles per hour or more. It's kind of shocking to me his numbers aren't better.
It's mostly just batting average and his plate discipline's awful.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of at a point with the Blue Jays, not that, they're more of a pesky team than just, one of the best offenses in baseball, but I don't know, I kind of want exposure to this team, the way that they're playing right now and scoring runs and putting the ball in play and just kind of being a pest. And so, I think Varsho kind of in that middle, lower third of this lineup can do some damage. Who would you guys rather have, Varsho or JJ Bleday in some of these 5 outfielder leagues?
Varsho.
I think that's the right answer.
I think there's a little bit more impact potential with him.
Yeah, I mean, unless it is true that Bleday has figured out something, but we're kind of grasping at straws with that. The other issue there is Bleday's more likely to play every day, I would say, at least if he's good enough to stick around.
Bleday will play every day? Oh,
no, Varsho.
No, I said Bleday, because Varsho we know sits against left-handers.
Okay. Well, I mean, Varsho's a really good defender, so I feel like he's actually more likely to play every day. I could be wrong about that.
He hasn't been when he's been healthy. He's been sitting against left-handers.
I mean, that one's tough because Springer's hurt, and then on the athletic side, as we'll get to shortly, Lawrence Butler hasn't been in the lineup the last 2 days. How likely is that to continue? Well, we'll find out in, 15 minutes or so.
Yes, we will talk about Lawrence Butler a little bit later on. Some worryometer on him. I am quickly pulling up career splits for JJ Bleday, who has pretty even left-right splits in his career. All right, we'll see. Few things to mention here. I will be out in Baltimore this weekend, so if anybody has any recommendations for where to go around Camden Yards, feel free to hit me up, tweet at me, DM.
Hit up the aquarium. It's
email,
awesome.
whatever. Yeah.
It's real. I think it's like right next to, I think it's in the Inner Harbor, right next to Camden Yards. The aquarium's super fun. I haven't been since I was like 18, but if you like fish, the animal, great spot.
Yeah, I've never been to Baltimore, so I'm trying to make the most of my 2 days there and see what I can do. So
thanks for clarifying.
And if you enjoy the audio podcast, feel free to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen. And big thanks to those watching live. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube as well. Let's take a break, and we will be back right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball today. Let's run through the news and notes, and we did get some Brewers updates. Jackson Chourio has responded well to treatment on his hamstring and is expected to return in 2 to 4 weeks. So hopefully before or around the start of September would be nice for the stretch run there. Jacob Misiorowski threw a bullpen on Tuesday, and he is hoping to return after the minimum 15 days on the IL. Nick Lodolo was placed on the IL with a blister on his left index finger. Gleyber Torres was scratched from the lineup due to left forearm tightness. At least it's not his throwing arm, so glass half full, I suppose. Tyler O'Neill left Tuesday night with right wrist discomfort. He is day-to-day. As expected, Michael Soroka went on the IL due to a right shoulder strain. Roman Anthony will return to the lineup on Wednesday. He missed 2 days with mid-back tightness. Sal Frelick has missed 3 straight due to left knee soreness. Bryce Miller's next rehab start will come at AAA on Thursday. He is scheduled to build up to around 65 pitches in that one.
That's one to keep an eye on because his velocity was up like 2 miles per hour in his previous rehab start. So that's very interesting given how much it dipped and how much he struggled early on with the elbow injury.
I mean, 2 miles per hour would put him ahead of even last year.
Yeah.
Not that I not that he won't sustain that necessarily, but yeah, it's encouraging that Bryce Miller looks at least showing signs of improved velocity after losing some.
Grayson Rodriguez is expected to have a normal offseason after undergoing right elbow debridement surgery. He'll do that next week. I know the way I worded that was not great, but he's expected to have surgery next week, and the hope is he'll be ready for...
Yeah, the normal offseason would come after he has the surgery. You said it fine.
Yeah, okay, cool. The Padres optioned J.P. Sears to AAA after his rough debut on Monday. Derek Gould, who covers the Cardinals, said the team still plans to use a closer committee despite Jojo Romero getting 2 saves since the trade deadline. He is the only lefty in their bullpen, and he was saved for the opportunity Monday night because the Dodgers had a bunch of lefty bats coming up in the 9th inning. So the expectation is that Riley O'Brien, Kyle Leahy, and perhaps Gordon Graceffo are still names that could get save opportunities for the Cardinals. Here's a name for you. Victor Robles will start a rehab assignment at AAA next week, and he was a top 200 pick in ADP before the season. Had a resurgent year last year where he hit 307 with 34 steals. 27% rostered. Any interest in stashing Victor Robles?
I was putting together IL stash rankings, my latest IL stash rankings before the podcast. Not done with it yet. Still need to include the infielders. But I am kind of surprised how high Victor Robles is here. Not that he's mustache, but I have him ahead of like Tommy Edman and Miguel Vargas. A couple players that have been pretty widely rostered this year. So sure, if you have it, particularly in categories leagues, I'm not sure there's much of a point in points leagues, but to hopefully get a nice little batting average and stolen base, especially boost here the final month. He could be good for that, or he could never be the same because this is a serious injury.
Yeah, and look, all of a sudden the Mariners are a pretty fun lineup too. So just I guess trying to get some exposure to that lineup, little added incentive there on Victor Robles. Cade Cavalli will join the Nationals rotation and start Wednesday against the A's. He is 26 years old, a former top prospect, first round pick back in 2020. This year at AAA, a 6.09 ERA and a 155 WHIP. Any deep league interest in Cade Cavalli?
He's got to show it. There have definitely been times when I've been interested in Cade Cavalli, but he was horrible on his rehab assignment. So he needs to get to the majors and give me a reason to be excited. But if he goes out and has 5 shutout innings and strikes out 7, yeah, I'll be interested.
Something else I wanted to bring up with the Nationals, and you guys let me know if I'm being too unfair to the Nationals organization. They kind of
would be hard to.
Don't feel great for pitching development. So I wonder if MacKenzie Gore did get traded at the deadline. Like maybe some team would be able to get more out of MacKenzie Gore than the Nationals. I don't know.
Yeah, they've had some successes over the past year and a half or so. Nothing really sustainable, though. Like, there have been these stretches from guys, but even Gore, who was the big win, all of a sudden looks like he isn't. So, yeah, I certainly don't view the Washington Nationals as a team that you give extra credit for.
No, but I don't know that I'm willing to say they're not good at pitcher development. I mean, part of it is I just don't think they've prioritized pitching much in drafts. I'd have to go through their pick history to stay safe for sure, but there have been over my years of covering prospects, there have been few pitching prospects worth mentioning in the organization. And Gore is kind of to their credit because the Padres basically gave up on him. So I don't know. I mean, Jake Irvin, Mitchell Parker, it's a wonder they had any success in the majors. And maybe that's to the Nationals' credit too. I would say it's just a big question mark how they do with pitchers.
Yeah, they haven't picked a pitcher in the first round since Cavalli in 2020. Jackson Rutledge before that, not really a win.
I know Travis Sikora was a big pitching riser prospect organization.
Yeah, he is. He is now.
He needs
that's
surgery, so I think he needs Tommy John. So that's,
I should have thought of him when I said not a lot of big pitching prospects.
But yeah, the Nationals haven't drafted a pitcher in the first round who has contributed positive WAR since Dane Dunning in 2016.
Oh my
I
goodness.
didn't realize they drafted him.
I didn't either.
All right. Well, let's fire up the worryometer. We already spoke a lot about MacKenzie Gore. Do you just want to put a number on it? 1 to 10? Where are you at on Gore?
Nine.
I mean, probably 10. I mean, maybe you say 9 just because we saw him bounce back from it before. So, yeah, I could go with 9.
What about his teammate, James Wood? Been getting some more questions about him. I know I brought him up, I think, a week or two with you, Chris, and we were kind of like, all right, he's young. Maybe it's just a little bit of a cold stretch here. It's gone on even longer now. So 0 for 3 again, last 23 games for James Wood. He is hitting 115 with 1 homer, a 42% strikeout rate. The underlying plate discipline looks really bad during that stretch, and a 65% ground ball rate. So it's just kind of multiple things happening terribly right now for James Wood. Where is he on the worryometer?
I would say like a 4 in terms in the context of we had this guy as a second round pick at the All-Star break, right? He made our top 24.
I think he was right at the turn, the 1-2 turn. Yeah.
Yeah. So when the stakes are that high, I think it's reasonable to be a little more reactionary, I guess, especially with a guy with a small sample size. We're talking about, this bad month is 1/7 of his major league career at this point, right? And one thing you're seeing is he's getting fed a lot of breaking balls. Going by month, he saw 33.8% breaking balls in April, 34.8% in May, 37% in June, 40% in July. He only saw 45% fastballs, and if you look at the season as a whole, he's crushing fastballs, and he's just trying to keep his head above water against breaking balls and off-speed pitches. He has a 44% whiff rate against breaking balls this season. That is really, really tough. So I'm not saying he doesn't belong in that first or second round discussion now, but given the limited sample size that we had to go on to put him up there, I think it's reasonably be a little concerned. Yeah.
That was a very nuanced and detailed take, but I'm just gonna say 1. I'm not worried about James Wood at all.
That might be the right answer. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe Scott is worried about Lawrence Butler, and he's a name that I remember I brought up to you, Scott, and he's only gotten worse since then. So last 36 games, this goes all the way back to like early mid-June, something like that. 164 batting average, a 538 OPS, 32% strikeout rate, just 5 barrels in his past 36 games. He has sat out 2 games in a row. Obviously, this one here on Tuesday was against a lefty in MacKenzie Gore. He's been awful against lefties. Scott, where are you at? Worryometer on Lawrence Butler.
I feel like that this is a really dusty reference, but longtime listeners of Fantasy Baseball Today will remember when Heath Cummings was on, and when he would do the worryometer segment, he would always give a 1 or a 10. And I feel like that's what I'm inclined to do with this group, because I want to say 10 here for Lawrence Butler. For most of the season, it's been underwhelming since the beginning, but at least for most of the season, you could point to, he still has the exit velocities. He's still making contact at a better rate, like when we saw him take off in the second half last year. But he just seems to be totally lost now. Like, the strikeout rate is ballooned. His pull air rate is not that it was great last year, but it's terrible this year. Like, he needs some coaching. He needs some of that coaching he got last year. I don't even know if that guy's still with the team. I have no idea. But whatever guy kept referencing during all the breakout talk for Lawrence Butler this preseason helped him fix his swing. He needs to get together with that guy again, because this is broken. Appears to be broken, and to the point that Lawrence Butler is now losing playing time. No reason to roster him in 3 outfielder leagues, I would say. 5 outfielder leagues, okay, you still got to roster him there, but you don't necessarily have to start him.
Yeah, the thing that's tough is when you look at xwOBA over the course of the season, he's never gotten above 330. Now, a 330 xwOBA for a guy who steals bases, that's not bad. That like that could be a 25-20 guy. But when that's your best stretch of a season, and for context, last year he was 339 overall. The process stuff has been bad pretty much all season, which is concerning given that we only had a 2-month sample size of him being good last year.
And you brought this up for James Wood. Lawrence Butler has a whiff rate over 42% on both breaking and off-speed pitches. And you kind of alerted us to that early in the season this year. And it clearly has not gotten better for Lawrence Butler. So 95% rostered and 62% started. I think some of those numbers could start to drop a little bit more here for Lawrence Butler. Fun day for the Twins' future. Welcome back to Luke Keeschel, who picked up right where he left off. 2 for 4 with his first career home run, had 3 RBI, 3 hard hits in his first game back. Also attempted a steal, but unfortunately was caught. On his rehab assignment, had 7 more steals in just 14 games. 39% rostered. This was a top 100 prospect entering the season. Really fun player. I don't want to call him, I don't know, is he a must-add play? He might be.
Yeah.
I think he's really
second base is pretty weak.
Any categories league he is, yes.
Yeah.
But he walks a lot too, which could work in points.
Oh, yeah, no, I think he could be must roster in points. I think it's probably too early to say that, but
yeah,
if you don't have a good one, there's not a lot of exciting options out there.
This was his 6th major league game, right, Luke Keeschel? I mean, or was it?
I think his 8th.
His 8th. Okay, yeah, he had 5 steals in 7 games before getting hurt in April. So yeah, his 8th major league game. That's the only reason it's like, okay, we want to play it cautiously. This isn't a top 5 type prospect being promoted to the majors. It's more like a top 50 type prospect being promoted to the majors, and it's only an 8-game sample. But he's done everything you could want in this 8-game sample. The shape of his production has been about what it was in the minors. I'll note that in slightly less than 100 at bats at AAA this year, Keeschel hit only 1 home run, and he doesn't have a lot of the raw power. He's not going to produce those big high-end exit velocities, but pulls the ball in the air well. Had plenty of home runs in the minors last year, so I think there is power, but even as things stand, even with this being his first major league home run in those 8 games, ton of walks, ton of steals, seems to be especially inclined to run. I had him with the word of his return. I had Luke Keeschel 24th in my second base rankings, which puts him ahead of like Jorge Polanco.
Would you take him over Bryson Stott?
It
has him 2 spots behind Bryson Stott, but that's
much.
Yeah, like that's the sort of situation where, okay, like I only have one set of rankings, right? I can't rank for every scenario. I can't rank for 15-team, 12-team, deep, shallow. It's just one set of rankings, and it's like, well, Bryson Stott is a fixture in the Phillies lineup and is does something for you, so. He's got to rank a certain place, but shallower league context, if I'm just shooting for upside, if mediocrity is always available on the waiver wire, yeah, I might take a flyer on Keeschel over Stott.
I'll say this. I haven't updated my rankings since the deadline because there's just a lot going on, guys. But I'm going to do that tomorrow. And just looking at second base, how many guys would you definitely rather have than Luke Keeschel in a Roto League right now? I think it might
14?
only be like, I was thinking like 8 or 9. Now, that's not to say like I definitely would rather have Luke Keeschel than Jackson Holiday, but
I wasn't even counting Holiday among them.
Or Brendan Donovan or Gleyber Torres, who are fine players, but like from a fantasy perspective, have real limitations. They really don't hit for much power. They don't steal many bases. Keeschel, I think he has 54 steals in 120 games at AAA. He might be legitimately impactful there while not being a 0 as a power hitter or just as a hitter in general. So, if you're looking to make up ground, like Scott said, if you're looking to avoid mediocrity, that's not to say Gleyber Torres is mediocre. But for fantasy, he's not necessarily a difference maker. Luke Keeschel could be. Yeah. So I'm inclined to rank him pretty close to the top 12 already at second base.
I think the highest I can get him is probably somewhere around 15. But yeah, I mean, if you want to be aggressive on him, I have no problem with that. And again, Keishel, widely available, only 39% rostered. What about his teammate on the mound? Zebby Matthews was solid at the Tigers. 5 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts to 1 walk, had 12 whiffs on 86 pitches. Limited the hard contact here, which has been a problem for Zebby Matthews. You look at all the skill indicators, everything that we like to look at for pitchers, and it's all there for Zebby. It's, K- walk rate is ERA indicators. They all look really good. Now we kind of just need the actual production to catch up here. This was a step in the right direction.
I'm not saying he's as talented as this guy, but he's giving me some early George Kirby vibes where he's probably throwing the ball in the strike zone too often. He's probably working too hard to avoid walks. And in this one, his zone rate for the season has been 55%. It was 50% in this one. And I think judiciously throwing the ball out of the strike zone can be a good thing. And I think some pitchers get themselves into trouble trying to avoid walks too much. And I think that's probably been the biggest issue for Zebby Matthews, because I think the stuff plays clearly. 29% strikeout rate coming into this start, 6% walk rate. It's just he gets hit way too hard, and that's probably from catching too much of the zone. Major league hitters, doesn't matter how good your stuff is, you get too much of the zone, they're going to make you pay for it, and that's been the problem for Zebby Matthews. But I think the stuff is really good. I think it's mostly about refining the approach and refining the pitch mix, and this was a very promising sign from a guy who I think is super talented. So I think you should go out and add him.
I was looking up Gleyber Torres because I was afraid he was being slandered in the previous conversation. He's on pace for 19 homers, 81 RBI, 85 runs this year.
He's having a good
average.
season.
It's good.
Yeah. I mean,
But
that's a must-star player.
Yeah, no,
regardless
for
of
sure. He's a
format.
very, but it's not, like if Luke Keishel's a 265 hitter with 10 homers and 50 steals, you'd probably rather have that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Keishel has top 5 upside as a second baseman. It's just after 8 games, are you how
That's why
willing are you to bet on that? What are you willing to give up for that?
I'm not ranking him above Gleyber Torres or saying you should drop Gleyber Torres. It's
Sure.
The problem with second base has a lot of specialists. Like, how do you value Luis Arias versus a guy like Luke Keishel, where Luis Arias is elite at exactly one thing. But if you really need that one thing, he's super valuable, and you'd probably rather have him than Luke Keishel. Brandon Lau, if he's healthy, kind of the same thing. Much better power hitter. Rest of the game, a little iffy. So I think, as with a lot of second basemen, context matters. I think team context might matter more at second base than any other position.
Mm-hmm. Let's take our final break. When we return, I've got some other waiver ads here, potential waiver ads. We'll talk about that right after this.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle. To amuse you is my only wish.
The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R, now streaming on Paramount+.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball today. Let's take a look at some waiver wire hitters here. And Carlos Correa, maybe a little reinvigorated here. I don't know, 2 for 4 with a run scored. Only 5 games with the Astros, but he's got 6 hits, a homer, has hit 3rd or 4th in all 5 games in Houston so far. 69% rostered and just gained that third base eligibility. So shallow league name there to pay attention to. Maybe he can catch fire. Spencer Steer, big game, 2 for 4 with his 13th home run, 4 RBI, but he had been pretty cold before this one, hitting 158 in his 23 games before this. He's 71% rostered. I don't know. Even if I see him in a shallow league, I probably would not be moved to pick up Spencer Steer.
No, would much rather add Carlos Correa if either's available. And this is unprovable, but there has been some reporting about the Twins since their fire sale that makes me think that the vibes had gotten pretty awful there. Because I know even after Yohan Duran was traded, Griffin Jacks demanded a trade, I believe, has been reported. And it sounds like people were pretty unhappy there. And I wonder how long that had been going on. So, yeah, maybe getting on a contender and having a real chance and being back somewhere he's comfortable can get Carlos Correa going. We have no, that stuff's ineffable. It's unquantifiable, but it matters.
Yeah. What about Joe Adell, who went 2 for 4 with his 23rd homer? That's back-to-back games with a home run this season. He is just so streaky, man. OPS by month this year, 513, 836, 1038, 659, and it's 632 so far in August. The StatCast stuff still looks amazing here, though. 70% rostered for Joe Adell. Should that number be higher, Scott? We're talking about 3 outfield points leagues at that point for Joe Adell.
I don't think it needs to be higher, no, because you look at the actual production and it's probably about right. I mean, I guess it could be a little higher. The StatCast stuff obviously is interesting because he's got to be one of the biggest underachievers by the data this year. It's a 75th percentile XBA. It's a 95th percentile X slug. And, normally it's been pretty reliable that, okay, if a player's underperforming his StatCast numbers, pull air rate is the culprit. His pull air rate's decent.
Yeah.
It's in the pink, not quite in the red, but in the pink. And the strikeout rate isn't nearly as bad as it used to be for Joe Adell. I don't think he needs to be rostered in 3 outfielder leagues. He can be, but I don't think he's must. But there's clearly more to draw on here for Joe Adell, and it wouldn't surprise me if he just took off these final 2 months and turned himself into a top 36 or even top 30 outfielder for next year.
He's 6th in WOBA or ex-WOBA minus WOBA, so he's the 6th biggest underperformer so far.
Mm-hmm. Any interest in Lenyn Sosa of the White Sox? Last 31 games, he is hitting .304 with 8 home runs, 27 RBI, and OPS around 900, and has first, second, and third eligibility. Any interest in Lenyn Sosa?
Gotta say, I'm surprised by those numbers. He was a pretty productive minor league hitter, but he's probably not this good. I think I would still view him as a fill-in maybe in roto leagues because of that multi-eligibility. If you need help at any of those 3 infield spots, Lenyn Sosa might be someone you could turn to now, but I don't think he's turning himself into a high-end fantasy performer or anything.
I think he's just going to be streaky.
All right.
He's got one of the highest chase rates in baseball.
Looking at this, his XBA is 284 and his X slug is 464. Pull air rate very good, not very good. Pull air rate good. Maybe I need to look a little harder at Lenyn Sosa. Sometimes you ambush me with somebody I'm not expected to talk about, Frank, and I just got to wing it.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Lenyn Sosa.
Yeah.
Up, maybe. I don't know. 12-team roto leagues. Again, as a guy you can move around, I think I said this about Ernie Clement yesterday. It's just if you need flexibility on your bench, good guy to have around. Someone like Lenyn Sosa. Waiver wire pitchers, one name in the shallowest of leagues. Ryan Nelson, solid outing against the Padres. 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts, 16 whiffs on 100 pitches. Did throw his fastball 60% of the time, Scott. He did that exactly for you. Has allowed 2 errors or fewer in 9 of his last 10 starts. 79% rostered. How do you guys rank Ryan Nelson, Trevor Rogers, Edward Cabrera? They're all right at 79 or 80% rostered.
I'd go Cabrera, Nelson, Rogers. I have a little more faith in what Nelson's skill set is showing.
I was consulting my rankings, which I spent forever updating yesterday. Probably about 10 hours just updating rankings, and somehow left Ryan Nelson out of them. So I will make a note of that right now. But I think I agree with Chris's order there. Edward Cabrera, Ryan Nelson, and then Trevor Rogers. Trevor Story plays a different position. I would say Cabrera is a clear number 1 in those two, probably 15 to 20 spots behind in my SP rankings.
All right, 2 other waiver wire pitchers here. Will Warren has been solid lately. I know you guys have basically just said, no more Will Warren. But I'll just point out 5 shutout innings here, 5 strikeouts, and last 6 starts, a 2.87 ERA, also a 140 whip. So probably has been lucky during that stretch.
I mean, he did something different in this start that might be for the better. So Will Warren, we've talked about part of what we like about him is he has a good fastball, the whiff rate higher than usual for a fastball, 25%. He threw his fastball 54% of the time in this one. Only one other start this year has the fastball usage been over 50%. And a lot of times with young guys, they overemphasize a fastball that's not actually very good. Will Warren may be underemphasizing a fastball that is very good. It has a 204 batting average against. So more of that, Will. And we'll see. If
underemphasizing fastballs is kind of the Yankees thing. That's kind of an organizational philosophy. I think they throw their 4-seamers less than any team in baseball, or right around there at least. So, that could be one where the player's skill set and the team's approach doesn't necessarily match, but maybe they're going to give him a little more freedom there. But he was so bad in the minors last year. His ERA overall this season has been terrible, and even if you buy the 361 FIP, it's still a 142 whip. That's untenable.
Yeah. No, it's an encouraging sign, but obviously Will Warren is still waiver fodder.
I have a bold prediction. He will be one of Scott's sleeper pitchers later on this week.
Yeah, that seems.
Who's he facing?
Looks like a 2-star pitcher against the Twins and Cardinals next week.
Seems like a good bet. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep. Could be. What about Emmett Sheehan? A solid outing against the Cardinals. 5 innings, 2 unearned runs with 5 strikeouts here. And he threw his secondary pitches a little bit more. Honestly, everything looks great outside of his fastball, which gets hit really hard. I feel like I say that about so many pitchers. And Sheehan's been solid. He just doesn't really give you a lot of length. He's almost certainly not going to throw more than 5 innings. But
and he's only done that twice. He's only gotten to 5. This was the second time.
46% rostered. What is your interest level here? It kind of feels like just roto or category leagues for me.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's going to stay in the rotation either.
Yeah, I feel like
it's a 6-man for, I don't know, I guess the time being. But
I feel like it's just a stash. I don't even know under what circumstances I could recommend Emmett Sheehan because the outings have been so short and he doesn't technically start all the time. Not that he's going deep enough for a quality start anyway. So I like the talent. It could change at some point this year where he does start getting a more conventional workload. And so that's why I say might be worth stashing, but not everybody has the luxury to stash. And so I think Sheehan, it's questionable whether he needs to be rostered even in your league.
Deep league waiver wire galore. I've got some names here I want to quickly hit on. Jacob Marcy has looked really good so far for the Marlins, 2 for 2 with a walk and his first career home run through 5 games. He's 6 for 12, 3 doubles, 1 triple, 1 homer, 5 walks to 5 strikeouts, 17% rostered. How would you guys rank right now? Varsho, Jacob Marcy, and JJ Bleday.
I'd go Varsho, Marcy, Bleday.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Marcy's he's got a weird skill set because it's like a phenomenal eye at the plate. He walks a ton. He's a very enthusiastic base stealer. And there's non-zero power there. I think he had 12 home runs or something before he got called up.
It's very pull side happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the plate discipline looks really good and the bat control looks he's got it's a 5-game sample size, but I think it's a 6% chase rate right now. He's just chased after nothing. And I don't know. I think he's a pretty interesting little player here.
He kind of reminds me of Davis Schneider, but with a lot of speed. And it didn't work out for Davis Schneider, but that doesn't mean it can't work out for Marcy.
All right. Next up, Dayrell Hernandez of the Athletics has looked good in 6 games so far, filling in for Jacob Wilson, 2 for 4 with his second home run. He also has a steal, 924 OPS so far. Some okay numbers in the minors. Any deep league interest in Dayrell Hernandez?
See, this is somebody you ambushed me with on trade deadline day.
Go on, you want to talk about Hernandez?
I've had a chance to look into Dayrell Hernandez now a little more. 24 years old. had his minor league numbers kind of reminded me a little bit of Warming Bernabel's, whereas batting average over 300, near 1-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, mostly because the strikeout rate was really low, but not the kind of exit velocities that would lead you to believe Ernest is going to be hitting mini home runs. And because of that, I think his relevance is going to be limited to deep leagues.
All right, what about Eli White, Scott? Anything here with your Atlanta Braves? 2 for 3 with his 7th home run, and in 7 games since returning to the team, he's hitting .296 with 3 homers. Anything?
I mean, this is somebody I'd take JJ Bleday over.
Right.
I think Eli White's a perfectly fine backup outfielder, but he's not. He's starting now. He's a starter in name only right now, and even though he's hot, you can ignore him outside of lonely leagues.
And Gerard Encarnacion. I got to do that for you every time, Chris. He was activated on Tuesday.
I don't think you roll that R though.
Yeah, it's just the one.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Oh,
no, not that R. It's got to be the first letter, or it's got to be the double R.
I forced it. All right. Well, we'll save it for.
It still sounded good. I still liked it.
For Jose. We'll save it for Jose. He homered right away. Encarnacion did 1 for 5 with his first home run. He was a deep sleeper entering the season, hit the ball extremely hard last year in a small sample. Chris, any deep league interest in Encarnacion?
Is he going to play regularly?
He started here against a righty, I think, which kind of intrigued me.
Yeah, because that would be the thing. I guess if Rafael Devers is really going to play first base regularly, then that does open up some DH opportunities for Gerard Encarnacion, because they don't really have a lot of other options. Wilmer Flores has his stretches, but yeah, I could see Gerard Encarnacion being pretty useful. I think there's certainly some skills that, big power there. So it's a name to keep an eye on, but outside of NL only, I think he's not someone you need to add right now.
And one pitcher, Taijuan Walker, strong start against the Orioles, 6 shutout innings, 4 strikeouts. Does anybody care about Taijuan Walker?
I think I saw this was his first start, shutout 6-inning start. I think it was since 2016. That feels unlikely.
Wow.
But that was what I saw.
That would not surprise me, I guess. But all right, so not really interested in Taijuan Walker. Nathan Eovaldi. How has Nathan Eovaldi done this, man? A masterful season. Awesome start here against the Yankees. 8 shutout innings, 1 hit, 0 walks, 6 strikeouts, 15 whiffs on 98 pitches. Last 6 starts, he has a 0.47 ERA and a .78 whip. His season-long ERA is down to 138. Look, obviously we're not expecting that to continue, but
as we've said for 4 months.
How has he done this, man? Where are you guys at on Nathan Eovaldi?
Oh, annoyed that he hasn't regressed at all, because every time I've talked about him, that seemed like the take to have. I think I rank Eovaldi 24th rest of season, which is obviously very high for a position like starting pitcher. 23rd, 23rd. I have him ahead of Nick Pivetta, who himself has like a 101 ERA in his last 7 starts or something like that. So don't let anybody tell you pitching is dead. Yeah, keep starting Nathan Eovaldi. I wouldn't be so inclined to say sell high on him at this point. He's gotten an IL stint recently. He should have plenty of fuel in the tank for the stretch run. The Rangers are competing. Looks like he's going to be great all year.
Yeah, and just it doesn't actually work like this, but the less time that's left, the less time there is for injuries. The less time there is for that regression. And I think the biggest issue that we've all had is that he just gets hurt every year. I mean, part of it's also he breaks down in the second half every year as well. He's almost always significantly worse in the second half than in the first. Often it's because of injury. It hasn't happened yet, and there's really no signs of it happening so far. So I don't know. It's weird because he's lost some velocity, about 1.5 miles per hour on his four-seamer over the course of the full season. And he's changed his approach. So he's throwing his four-seamer less, his splitter and his cutter more, his curveball more as well. And it's been a phenomenal pitch mix for him. I'm not exactly sure if this is what you would have expected coming in. If you had told me, hey, Nathan Eovaldi is going to be throwing 1.5 miles per hour or less, he's going to be throwing his splitter a lot more. If I would have been like, okay, great, he's going to have the best season of his career. I'm not sure if that would have been the case. He's over his head. You know, he has a 1.49 ERA. That goes without saying that he's over his head. His xERA is 3.26. That's still really good. But it's not a 1.49 ERA. And if you think he's more like a low threes ERA pitcher moving forward, and you have to acknowledge the heightened injury risk, then he's not as slam dunk of a top 15 or top 20 pitcher as you might think for a guy who does have a 1.49 ERA or whatever it is through his first 19 starts.
Yeah. I do find it interesting that he's kind of having this career year while lowering his velocity. And that kind of feels like a conscious decision. You know, same rotation as Jacob deGrom, who's also done that this season, has also had a really, really good season so far. So I don't know. Maybe it's allowing him to command his pitches better at lower velocity, but also kind of just stay strong throughout the course of the season. So
maybe
interesting things there for Nathan Eovaldi. Welcome to Cincinnati for Zack Littell, who had an awesome debut here. 7 innings, 1 run with a season high 8 strikeouts at the Cubs, 16 whiffs on 92 pitches. And, you know, he did change the pitch mix here, threw his splitter more, and it unlocked more whiffs, at least in this start. So I'm just wondering if, I don't know, maybe he can get a little bit more strikeout upside outside of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, because the Rays famously don't know what they're doing with pitchers.
Well, I meant it more like he always had more strikeouts in Tropicana, but he doesn't have Tropicana this year. He also doesn't have Tropicana in Cincinnati either.
But Littell's having like his best season. So he threw his splitter a lot more, 42% versus 27%. It got half of his whiffs. But on the season, it has a pretty low whiff rate for a splitter.
Yeah,
24%.
that's the thing.
So I don't look. Another start like this will open my mind to the possibility a little more that Zack Littell is going to unlock more strikeout potential here at the Reds. But I think it was just kind of something that happened, and he's still very solid fantasy pitcher. But I'm not willing to say anything's going to change for him with the Reds.
While we're on this topic, do we think Chase Burns gets kicked from the rotation when Hunter Green's back?
Well, Nick Lodolo's going on the IL too.
Yeah, but they already have Abbott, Singer, Burns, Martinez, and Littell. But they had moved Martinez out of the rotation when they traded for Littell.
It kind of felt like Martinez is only going back because Lodolo got hurt.
Right, but now Green's going to be back. So
Green's going to be back, so Martinez will be out again. It doesn't seem like a long-term issue for Lodolo. We don't think blisters can be tricky, especially since he has a history of them.
Yeah.
But then there will be an issue. Yeah, if it does end up being short-term for Lodolo, Green comes back fine. I don't know who else could come out except for Burns, but I guess it
just
not
depends
really
on if they
worth worrying about right now. I would say.
It just depends if they want to keep Martinez in a swing role, or if that's what they prioritize more than limiting Burns innings. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Martinez. To me, it's Martinez isn't even in this discussion. They've already declared their intentions for Martinez. It's swingman. It's just that they happen to need the swingman to swing in the rotation right now. But when Lodolo and Green are both back, that's when it'll become an issue.
Yeah.
Some hitting leftovers here. Willy Adames continues to hit well after a slow start, 2 for 5 with his 18th home run. Jose Altuve has picked things up, 2 for 4 with his 19th homer. Yainer Diaz also playing better of late, 1 for 4 with his 16th home run. Eugenio Suarez, welcome back to Seattle. His first home run since the trade. He went 1 for 3 with a sock and a shoe. His 37th home run, his second steal. This Josh Naylor thing of all the improbable things that you see in a baseball season,
Of all the dramatic things.
Josh Naylor with 19 steals this season. He has
What?
8 steals in 11 games.
What?
Winning the Mariners.
What?
What is happening? Exactly. What is happening?
What?
That's baseball. That's baseball season.
That is baseball season.
Josh Naylor, famous speedster in the 3rd percentile in sprint speed this season. One of the craziest things I've ever.
That's wild.
Max Muncy, 4
Are
for
they just
5.
not throwing? Like, I'm gonna just go watch all of them and see how many are just like defensive indifference.
Yeah, it reminds me of. I never understood how Albert Pujols stole bases. He was not fast. He was a huge hulking human being, but he just knew how to time pitchers up. He was savvy. He knew that they weren't paying attention, and boom, he would just go off and run. And sometimes he would wind up with like 10 to 12 steals. So I guess Josh Naylor is just doing a similar thing. I don't know. Kind of crazy though. Max Muncy, welcome back to him. 4 for 5 with a double dong, 4 RBI. Teoscar Hernandez looking to pick things back up. Went 3 for 5 with 2 homers and 4 RBI in that game. And Aaron Judge did make his return. Looked a little bit rusty, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, but of course, facing the best pitcher of all time, Nathan Eovaldi. So it's a pretty tough matchup.
Very, very encouraged by Max Muncy. We weren't sure if he'd lose all that momentum he had with a pretty bad knee injury. But remember, 53 games before the knee injury, the 53 games since he put on the glasses, Max Muncy hit 287, 13 home runs, and 989 OPS. And now second game back, 4 for 5 with 2 home runs. So, yeah, I think he's picking up where he left off. Top 12 third baseman rest of the way.
Pitching left over is Logan Webb. Likes pitching against the Pirates. I mean, I think most pitchers do, but, 2 starts in a row here, back-to-back double-digit strikeouts. He had 10 strikeouts over 6 innings here against the Pirates. Garrett Crochet, another great outing, 7 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts against the Royals. Shota Imanaga, strong one against the Reds, 6 1/3, 1 run, 7 strikeouts here, 15 whiffs on 92 pitches. And Brian Wu, a dominant start against the White Sox, 7 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, 0 walks. And he has now gone 6+ innings in all 22 starts.
That's incredible.
The picture of durability, Brian Wu.
His last year, he is up to, what did he get through? Did he get through 7 today?
Yeah.
He's over 200 innings in his last 365 days. 32 starts, 200.2 innings of a 3.20 ERA. That's pretty good. It's pretty remarkable for a guy who was leaving every start with an injury in the first 4 months last year.
Can I give you another hitting leftover?
That
Colson Montgomery homered again.
did he really?
He did.
Did that happen late?
Was that
in
late?
game?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Yeah. Gosh.
I don't get it.
All right. Well,
I mean, I get it. Like, he can hit the ball really hard. It's just how was he so baffled by AAA pitchers and he hasn't been?
He was just bored.
By Major League. I mean, maybe. We wouldn't be the first to theorize such.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, you know what?
Hope he doesn't get bored being a major leaguer.
Yeah. I don't know. On the White Sox, you never know.
I mean, that's like me being bored in high school when I had a 2.30 GPA or something. Like, I get being bored when you're dominating and not getting your opportunities. He hasn't been very good, and he was bored.
But you just said you fell victim to that.
Well, that's my excuse. I was just lazy.
I mean,
I'm not saying that's the case here. I'm just saying, I would have an easier time understanding he's bored at in the minors when if it was one of those guys who dominates like a Kobe Mayo. Like Kobe Mayo. You're allowed you can be bored at AAA. I get that. Colson Montgomery, I don't know if he'd earned the right to be bored at AAA.
We're just it's kind of armchair psychology.
Yeah,
anyways,
my theory is that the White Sox must have just had him working on something specific, and they didn't care about the results. That's the thing that would make the most sense if this is real.
Yeah. I mean, I mostly say it tongue in cheek, but just trying to, I don't know, come up with any reason this is playing out this way for Colson Montgomery. Call to the bullpen for the Twins. Cole Sands pitched in the 8th inning with a 6-1 lead facing the heart of the Tigers lineup. He gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, and Justin Topa got the 9th with a 3-run lead. He struck out 1 for his first save. He is 0% rostered on CBS.
I'm checking to see if he's available in my AL only league.
Yeah, that's the only place I'd be looking. But
he is
15-team roto leagues, maybe, but yeah,
he is.
Got to be
Justin Topa. Desperate. So Sands has not. I think Sands has worked the 8th inning exclusively since the Twins traded their bullpen. I do think he's the best reliever left, despite the results here on Tuesday. But that doesn't seem to matter. I mean, I'm not saying it won't matter eventually, but what I am saying is Justin Topa is the second best reliever left. So I don't think he's as good as Sands, but if Baldelli is committed to keeping Sands more versatile, then maybe it could be Topa who gives you 6 to 8 saves the rest of the way.
For the Guardians, Cade Smith got the 9th with a 1-run lead. He picked up his 4th save. They went right back to him after throwing 22 pitches on Monday night. So we knew he was the closer, but man, they're just giving him a big workload right away. I know nobody's going to feel sorry for the Yankee fan, but my gosh, it is just, when will it stop? When will the bleeding stop? Devin Williams used in the 8th inning in a tie game facing the heart of the Rangers lineup, was charged with 2 runs on 2 walks and 2 hits. Did have some bad defense behind him by Jason Dominguez. But still, it is just insane to me that Aaron Boone went back to him in a high leverage spot just one day after blowing the game. The guy who he gave up a home run to on Monday night was Jock Peterson. He was set to face the same hitter again in the 8th inning of this one. He could have used anybody else, David Bednar, Mark Leiter's back. And then they left him in there with the bases loaded. He loaded the bases with walks. They had 2 relievers ready to go, and they just left him out there.
Aaron Boone's a believer in giving his guys confidence.
That was not the spot for confidence.
Just because he has been loyal to Williams so far doesn't mean he will always be. We already know he won't always be, because for a while he was giving Luke Weaver the saves over Devin Williams. So with every misstep for Williams, and now it's 6 of his last 8 appearances he's given up at least a run.
Yep.
Camilo Doval worked the 6th inning in this game, so I don't think it'd be him. David Bednar didn't work in this game at all and was dominant for the Pirates ever since that brief stint in the minors in April.
I think they were saving him for the 9th.
I think it could happen. It could happen sooner than later. They switched to Bednar.
And on the other side for the Rangers, Phil Maton got the 9th with a 2-run lead. He gave up a hit, but picked up his first save with the Rangers. Robert Garcia also blew 2 games in a row over the weekend and is dealing with a back thing. So there's a chance that Phil Maton just kind of takes over as the save source in Texas as well.
Yep. I thought he was, in my roto leagues that have weekly waiver runs, I thought he was being overlooked. Nobody seemed to want him. I think he's the best reliever in that bullpen. It doesn't mean Bochy will go with him over Robert Garcia long term, but it doesn't surprise me that Maton is getting some chances now.
To stream or not to stream on Wednesday, we have Cade Horton up against the Reds. Jack Leiter gets the Yankees. Tyler Anderson against Tampa Bay. Jeffrey Springs at the Nationals. Dustin May in his Red Sox debut against the Royals. Jose Quintana at the Braves. Nestor Cortez in his Padres debut at the D-backs.
Did this get worse since yesterday? I feel like it got worse since yesterday.
Same names.
Springs, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if May was good because the Royals are bad, but I don't really have any faith in him. I think Springs is the only one.
I don't mind Quintana at the Braves. It probably won't be an amazing start, but it'll probably be a start that doesn't hurt you.
I think Cade Horton against the Reds could be okay. And look, if you do daily streamers, you probably should pay attention to the weather in Wrigley. So if the wind is blowing out, stay away. But anything else, I think that could work out. Then on Thursday, just a 4-game slate. We have Jacob Lopez at the Nationals.
I like that one.
Mitchell Parker's on the other side. Shane Smith at Seattle. Brady Singer at the Pirates. Carlos Carrasco against the Marlins.
And Lopez and Singer.
Yep.
Yeah, and I probably prefer Singer to Lopez.
All right.
But those are
Higher
the only
floor.
two worth considering.
We are going to wrap there. For Scott and Chris, I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning in to Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. And we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.